July 26, 1948. The Oval Office. The air inside felt heavier than the suffocating Washington heat outside. President Harry S. Truman sat alone at his desk. A fountain pen rested in his hand. It was trembling. In front of him lay two ordinary sheets of paper, thin, unremarkable, yet powerful enough to end his presidency. Outside, the temperature climbed past 98 degrees. Inside, Truman was sweating for a different reason. Every advisor had warned him not to do this. His entire cabinet begged him to wait. The Democratic Party, his own party, threatened to abandon him. Military leaders said it would destroy combat readiness. Southern governors warned of open revolt. Even close friends questioned his sanity. And yet, here he was, moments away from signing Executive Order 9981. Why would a man with only 36% approval, the most unpopular president since polling began, deliberately commit political suicide? Why would a former farmer from Missouri, raised in a world of casual racism, decide to challenge the entire U.S. military? Why would someone who desperately needed Southern votes in just 4 months do the one thing guaranteed to lose them? Truman knew the cost. He had seen the polls. He had done the math. He understood that this single signature could erase every achievement of his administration. So why did he lift the pen? What Truman didn't know, what no one in that room could predict, was that this moment of apparent madness would finish something even Abraham Lincoln couldn't. To understand why Harry Truman made the most politically toxic decision of the 20th century, we have to go back, not to his presidency, not even to his childhood, but to a muddy crater in France. France, October 1918. Captain Harry Truman crouched in a shell hole in the Argonne Forest. Artillery screamed overhead. The ground shook. He was trying not to vomit from fear. His unit, 128 men from Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma, was pinned down by German fire. They were green troops. Most had never seen combat. Truman could see it in their eyes. Panic. Calculation, that split second before men break and run. And then he heard something strange. Over the explosions, over the screaming, singing. Deep, steady voices rising from a position 200 yards to his left. Black soldiers, the 92nd Infantry Division, holding a line that should have collapsed hours earlier. Singing spirituals while German artillery tried to erase them from existence. Something inside Truman cracked open. These men were denied the right to eat in the same restaurants as him back home, forced to use separate water fountains, barred from voting. And yet here they were, dying to hold ground his own troops were ready to abandon. Truman watched as a black sergeant ran into no man's land under machine gun fire. He dragged a wounded white soldier to safety, took 2 bullets, then went back for another. Truman's battery survived that night because men treated as less than human in their own country decided that country was still worth dying for. When those soldiers returned home from World War I, they came home to betrayal. Lynchings, race riots, beatings. The summer of 1919, later called the Red Summer, saw white mobs attack black neighborhoods across America. Black veterans still in uniform were beaten in the streets. Some were lynched while wearing their medals. Truman saw it, and he did nothing. He opened a men's clothing store, joined the local Democratic machine, played the game of Kansas City politics, where speaking up on race meant political death. In 1924, the Ku Klux Klan approached him. Truman paid the $10 membership fee. He attended 1 meeting, then demanded his money back and never returned. For decades, Truman was exactly who everyone thought he was: a machine politician, a man who bent when convenient, someone who stayed silent to stay in power. But what no one knew, what Truman never told anyone, was that he could never forget the singing in France. April 12, 1945. Franklin D. Roosevelt died. Harry Truman, picked as vice president because he was safe, forgettable, controllable, became the most powerful man on Earth. Within months, letters began piling up on his desk. One came from Isaac Woodard, a black Army sergeant, honorably discharged, dragged off a bus in South Carolina, beaten by police until he was permanently blinded. His crime? Asking politely to use the restroom. The sheriff was acquitted. Then came Georgia. 2 black veterans and their wives pulled from a car, shot more than 60 times. One had voted that morning. No one was charged. More reports followed. Beatings, segregated blood supplies, soldiers denied entry to facilities on their own bases. And the sickest irony of all? America had just defeated Nazi racial ideology while running its own military under a system disturbingly similar. Every expert said no. Generals warned of chaos. Admirals warned of collapse. Politicians warned of revolt. But Truman was done waiting. On July 26, 1948, no cameras, no ceremony, just the scratch of a pen. When he finished signing Executive Order 9981, Truman looked up and said, "Well, that's it. I've probably just lost the South, but at least I'll be able to sleep tonight." The fallout was immediate. The party fractured. Polls showed him doomed. But something unexpected happened. The Air Force integrated. Then the Navy. The Army resisted until Korea. And in combat, integrated units fought better. By 1954, segregation in the U.S. military was over. When the Supreme Court ruled Brown versus Board of Education, America already had proof. Harry Truman believed he was ending his career. Instead, he changed the country.